War has always been about power, speed, and strategy. But in today's world, battles are no longer just about tanks rolling across deserts or jets streaking through the sky. The real fight is happening above our heads, in a place where technology decides who lives and who doesn't. And two machines stand at the center of this battle: the helicopter and the drone. One is a symbol of raw military power, hovering with unstoppable force. The other is a new age weapon, small, cheap, and deadly, swarming in numbers. So here's the question. In the wars of the future, who will dominate the skies? Helicopters or drones? To answer that, we need to step back for a moment and understand what makes these machines so unique. Helicopters, since their rise in the mid-20th century, have been called the workhorses of war. They can hover, land in impossible places, and carry troops or missiles straight into the heart of the battlefield. They've rescued soldiers under fire, destroyed tanks with rockets, and even carried presidents. In short, helicopters are not just machines, they are lifelines in war. Drones, on the other hand, are the rebels of modern warfare. They started small, often used only for spying or surveillance, but over the last 2 decades, they've evolved into lethal hunters. Now, a drone the size of a backpack can take out a multi-million-dollar tank or even damage a billion-dollar warship. And unlike helicopters, drones don't need pilots on board. They don't feel fear, they don't get tired, and they don't demand years of training. For militaries around the world, drones are fast becoming the perfect soldier. But here's the real conflict. Helicopters and drones are now meeting each other in the same battlefield, and that creates one of the most fascinating rivalries in modern warfare. To understand who wins, let's look at their strengths and weaknesses one by one. Helicopters first. Imagine a Black Hawk roaring into battle, blades slicing the air, carrying soldiers ready to fight. A helicopter's biggest strength is its versatility. It can fly forward, backward, sideways, even hover in place. Unlike planes, it doesn't need a runway. That means helicopters can land on rooftops, on mountain cliffs, even in jungles. For ground forces, helicopters are not just a weapon. They're a guardian angel, delivering supplies, reinforcements, or firepower exactly when it's needed. And when it comes to heavy lifting, drones simply cannot compete. A helicopter can carry dozens of troops, tons of cargo, or even armored vehicles under its belly. But helicopters come with a massive problem: vulnerability. They're big, noisy, and expensive targets. When a helicopter flies, you can hear it from miles away. And in modern battlefields where every soldier has anti-aircraft weapons, that's a deadly weakness. Throughout history, helicopters have been shot down in wars, from Vietnam to Afghanistan, often with tragic losses of both crew and passengers. And unlike drones, when a helicopter crashes, human lives are lost. Lives that take years of training and millions of dollars to replace. Now let's switch to drones. Imagine a swarm of 20 small drones buzzing through the air, each one programmed to strike with precision. One drone might not do much damage, but together they can overwhelm even the most advanced defenses. This is the true power of drones: numbers. For the cost of a single helicopter, an army can buy hundreds of drones. And while a helicopter requires highly skilled pilots, drones can be operated by soldiers sitting safely miles away, or even controlled by artificial intelligence. Drones also have the element of stealth. They're small, hard to detect, and can fly low or high without attracting attention. Some are even disposable, designed to crash into targets like flying bombs. In today's wars, we've seen drones destroy tanks, bridges, and even air defense systems that were supposed to protect against jets and helicopters. In many ways, drones are rewriting the rules of warfare. But drones also have weaknesses. First, they can't carry large loads. A drone might carry one missile or a small explosive, but it cannot transport a team of soldiers or deliver tons of supplies. They're limited in endurance too. Most drones can only stay in the air for a few hours, while helicopters can operate for longer missions. And unlike drones, drones are extremely dependent on technology. If the signal is jammed, if the GPS is blocked, or if the software is hacked,
a drone becomes useless. In a high-tech war against a strong enemy, drones might not be as unstoppable as they seem. So when we put them side by side, who comes out on top? The answer depends on the type of war. In large-scale wars between powerful nations, helicopters still matter. They can carry troops into enemy territory, evacuate the wounded, or launch heavy strikes that drones simply cannot match. But in smaller wars or conflicts where budgets are tight, drones are stealing the show. Countries that could never afford fleets of helicopters are now building massive drone armies. And that's a dangerous shift because it means war is becoming cheaper, deadlier, and harder to stop.
Let's look at a few real examples. In the 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, drones completely changed the game. Azerbaijani drones destroyed Armenian tanks, artillery, and even air defense systems with shocking efficiency. Helicopters on both sides were vulnerable, but drones proved faster, cheaper, and deadlier. It was a wake-up call for militaries around the world. Drones are no longer just support. They are frontline warriors. But in Afghanistan and Iraq, helicopters still proved their worth. They evacuated wounded soldiers under fire, supplied remote outposts, and delivered overwhelming firepower when ground troops were pinned down. In situations like these, no swarm of drones can replace a helicopter's ability to land, rescue, and fight all at once. Now, let's talk about the future. Many experts believe we are heading toward a hybrid battlefield, where helicopters and drones will work together, not against each other. Imagine a helicopter flying into combat, escorted by dozens of drones acting as its shield. The drones could scout ahead, jam enemy signals, or even sacrifice themselves to intercept incoming missiles, while the helicopter carries the soldiers or heavy weapons. In fact, militaries like the US and China are already experimenting with this kind of manned-unmanned teaming. It might not be helicopters versus drones, it might be helicopters plus drones.
But there's another possibility too. As drones get smarter, cheaper, and more powerful, they might eventually replace helicopters altogether. Why risk human lives when machines can do the job? A future battlefield might have giant cargo drones carrying supplies, combat drones dropping troops with robotic precision, and attack drones delivering firepower without a pilot in sight. In that world, the helicopter could become a relic of the past, remembered only as the machine that once ruled the skies. So, who really wins the battle of the skies? The truth is, it's not a simple answer. Helicopters bring strength, versatility, and human presence. Drones bring stealth, numbers, and technology. Together, they represent two sides of modern warfare, one rooted in tradition, the other racing into the future. And the real winner will not be the machine itself, but the military that learns how to use them both most effectively. The battlefield of tomorrow will not be decided by sheer power alone. It will be decided by adaptability. The army that learns when to unleash the unstoppable force of helicopters and when to unleash the swarm of drones, that army will dominate the skies. Because in the end, wars are not just about weapons, they are about strategy, timing, and the clever use of every tool available. So, the next time you see a helicopter thundering across the horizon or a drone buzzing overhead, remember, you're not just looking at machines, you're looking at the future of war and the rivalry that could shape it for decades to come.